Hello, we're back, everybody. This is Oakwalker. I am here with my friend Frank Stronghorse Caldwell, and we are Earth Medicine for the Soul, a podcast that talks about all things shamanically spiritual and spiritual in general, and also the how spirit and reality combine and interact with one another. So, I am going to suggest that we continue our discussion that we were working on the last episode because it was a hot and heavy discussion on things like freedom and authenticity and how those two things uh, intertwine. And I'm going to kick that over to Frank again because he's always so much better at opening up these discussions and giving us a general framework from which to move forward.
Well, I think that what I like to touch on is each of our perceptions of how this new world is going to manifest on the planet. This is kind of the hot topic on that I've seen on Facebook with different psychics and spiritual teachers. They're talking
Mhm,
about how the planet's going to split and this and that. Greg Braden has written about this for years and years. He calls it the Great Shift.
mhm.
This has been prophesized by various elders through for thousands of years. And I think really in totality, it's really anybody's guesswork how this is actually going to happen because you know even the elders that we work with down through the years, they all say, we don't like getting into prophesizing about the future much. Because there's so many moving parts to it.
Right.
You don't want to get, you don't want your feet held to the fire. So but that being said, if we the things that we have focused on in terms of what's going to go down or how this is going to go down or what does this mean to everybody. I think that eh, what I've always claimed is that from a standpoint of being a biological being,
Hmm.
every down through evolution is really about, well, how well does the species adapt biologically to the environment?
Hmm.
And as the environment changes, the species either adapts or goes extinct. And so, you know, the strong survive and the weak move aside. And I think that that's sort of the encapsulation of what's going to be happening on the planet, except that it's going to be happening spiritually versus just physically on this. Our historically, I think we've really sort of been evolving physically as a species. But now we're going to move into an evolution spiritually. And that's going to have to include physically, but it's a whole different temperament. It's a whole different set of criteria that we're really not used to as a planet. There's been tremendous amount of work, I think, in the last, say, I'd say like 20 or 30 years, particularly in this country, or even in other, like I've noticed it down in Mexico, because I've been going down there for so many years. But there's a conscious awakening that is really bigger than most of us really understand. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's huge, and um, we're in the early stages of this thing, and so it's going to be a huge learning curve. But I think that our job is to kind of lay out some various parameters based on our involvement with the spirit world, and put a disclaimer out there that we don't guarantee that any of this is going to happen. you know, but here you go anyway. So you just do with it what you want. So. Yeah, I mean, I think that we're seeing I think we're on the cusp of this movement, of this shift of energies, and I think it's going to come in very slowly and very sweetly. I mean, I think I remember I told you that story about at Sundance where the grandmothers came in and we've done this certain ceremony and nothing had really happened. Where before that usually some be a big response, and they came in and said, "You guys with your booms and your bangs and your explosions," you know, said maybe this is going to come in. Maybe the fifth world comes in like a summer wind, And I thought,
Hmm.
hmm. And so I kind of think I'm going to go with that anyway. I mean, well, there's obviously the patriarchy is doing everything they can to try to hold on to their old ways and their old power and their old structures,
Hmm.
but they're falling apart, man. They
Yeah, it's
are,
a dying
and
paradigm.
yeah, it's a collapsing structure, and so I think it's important as spiritual teachers that we emphasize to the people and to this, particularly to the younger folks, that this is a good thing. I mean, I've heard for years and years that souls were lined up and begging to be able to be on this planet to experience this transition. I mean, it was
Hmm.
just, I mean, it's never happened anywhere in any universe before. That's what what I've heard. And so they wanted to be here for it, and even, some of the spiritual teachers like that I know of now, that like J.J. Hurtak and some of these other folks, they're like, man, I can't believe I'm here for this. This is just incredible. So, I mean, there's, it's exciting and it's unpredictable, but I think it's going to be a very, very sweet transition and movement if you allow it to be that.
If you breathe into it.
Yeah.
Boy, you just opened up a humongous bag of worms there with all of that. You
It's
want me
my
to
job.
continue?
Yeah. Take the worms.
So, okay, so the first thing you said was only the strong survive. I think this is a colonial and a patriarchy misrepresentation of Darwin's work. Uh, People are starting to realize, and I'm hearing threads going on out there, that in fact he mentions the survival of the fittest far less often than he talks about how it is the loving that the lovers survive. It's the mother's love that causes communities of animals and people and species to work together in order to overcome these sudden shifts in their environment, right? And evolution has been pretty much uh, it's been this the science is in, and it's pretty much a punctuated reality, right? It's a punctuated equilibrium. So if evolution stays pretty much stable, nothing happens, nothing happens, nothing happens, then boom, the environment changes, an asteroid hits the Earth, there's suddenly drought everywhere, or something happens, right? That or an invasive population comes in, right? Something has to change, right? And that's when evolution takes off. So evolution doesn't just go in these nice little diagonal, uh, charts like they've always made. Evolution goes like this, and then bam, there's some evolution, and then bam again, right? So they call that punctuated equilibrium. And I first saw that on the bumper sticker of a Volkswagen minibus that was like smoking and up by the University of California in San Diego, and which is one of the places where this idea would have caught on real well because that was Ravel's haunt stomping ground, and Ravel is the guy that introduced the idea that the globe is warming, that there's a problem with global warming. Al Gore talks about that in his book. An unpleasant, what's it, inconvenient truth. So, um, so yeah, there's all that. And we are unquestionably facing the breakdown of a structure, sorry, pencil, the breakdown of a structure that is that has played itself out, and that structure uh, is the uh, is the colonialism and the patriarchy, which sort of have gone together somehow. And I'll never understand how it hit the whole planet at the same time, as if some gamma ray from the sun just went, you're a patriarchal planet now, about 10,000 years ago or something. I can't figure that out. And I would love for some of the, really the good paleontologists and historians to help me to help explain that to me, because the biblical story of the fall just doesn't resonate with all of the facts that I have. Anyway, so there's that. And what that leads to then is that the problem of talking about the shift is that the only way any of us know how to refer to the paradigm that's changing is because it's the only paradigm we've ever known. And so we're trying to explain what kind of a shift we're going to be seeing, and we know it has to be something, right? Because you can watch empires crumbling all over the whole planet right now, and the mobsters are gathering together with their vulture, little vulture eyes going, I can grab that and I can grab that, and I'm taking Venezuela and I want Greenland, and I'm taking all of Malaysia, and they're just gathering up in little groups of predatory um, what is it when you carrion eaters.
Cartels.
Yeah, the cartels, but they're acting like carrion eaters, right? So you've got all
Hmm.
this crumbling structure all around, and they're just picking it clean, right? They're picking it all clean of whatever's good left in it, and getting what they can and moving on with a complete disregard for the well-being of the planet, for the well-being of the people on the planet, for the well-being of their communities, and and it's the fulcrum where the whole paradigm of colonialism and patriarchy have played themselves out, and and there isn't going to be anything left. So the rest of us are going to have to resort to loving, as evolutionary changes have always required, in order to weather the storms that are up and coming. And we know they're coming because we're actually right in the middle of them. They're not coming, they're here.
Right. Well, let me jump in here for a second and qualify something. Um, when I say only the strong survive, I'm not really referring to the historical precedent of physically strong
I
survive.
get that. Yeah.
This I'm referring to more the people that the strength at this particular juncture of the time is, you and I both know that we're familiar with the term hold your space.
Yeah.
You know, you have to become the eye of the hurricane and not get caught up in all the chaos that's going on around you because chaos brings change. Always.
Hmm.
Chaos always brings change.
Hmm.
Death, change, movement, chaos. It's just the way that things are. And
Yeah.
so if you hold your space, if you remain centered, if you keep your focus on your one point, which is right three fingers down below your navel, hold that power spot, be stable,
Yeah.
understand that you're not at the effect of all this, that this is
Hmm.
simply something that's got to happen to move the bad out and create the space for good to come in, and the
Yeah.
good is coming. I mean, it's on full blast.
Yeah.
That if you I mean you look at all the science about all the different radio signals and the sun eruptions and all the things that are coming out. They do their best they can to try to file it under it's another disaster because
Yeah.
that's all they know. It's got to be a bad thing. That's all I watch on TV.
Yeah.
you know, it's always
Yeah.
got to be bad. If the aliens show up, they're going to be bad. I mean, we all
Right.
know that.
Yeah. Hawkins said that. He said they're going to be as
Oh my
evil as we
God.
are. Okay, so
It's like
let's. Go ahead.
an ongoing battle of the OK Corral.
Right.
Oh man.
Yep.
So anyway, don't you think I think that holding of your space of just is anchoring
Yeah.
in is hugely important.
I couldn't agree more. And it gets us back to the truth. And as and you and I know this, is that strength is not um, what most people call strength nowadays. It isn't having the biggest military. It's not being a bully. It's not being able to, bench press the most stuff. Really, strength only if only the strong survive. It's because they know how to love. And it takes a lot of strength to be a loving, giving person. And that's where it all kind of comes together then. Because only the strong survive and only the lovers survive is essentially, if you really dig into it, saying the same thing, right? You have to be strong within yourself in order to be that person with the freedom to be flexible and still be uh, centered in everything that's going on. Also, touching on that, I don't believe in disaster. I believe that things happen and then people stick up buildings and shit in the way, and then that's the disaster. Is that now my building's gone? Oh, I'm in a disaster. But all they did was like build on a floodplain, right? The flood's
Right.
coming, and the disaster is that your house just
Yeah,
floated
the
away.
Earth has never changed before. I don't know why it would
Right.
start now.
I don't know,
Oh,
man. I put that skyscraper right down in front of that tornado.
the thing that comes to mind when you were talking about holding that loving space when confronted with with cruelty is this thing that comes to mind, which I really love is whoever that guy was that put on the inflatable frog outfit in Portland, to face
Yeah,
down ice. God, I
right.
love that. I just thought that is so cool.
I did too, and I actually saw the video where the Attorney General of the United States stated, "We now consider the inflatable frog costume as part of the Antifa uniform." I'm like, I gotta have one
Oh
of
my
those.
God. Well, I mean, they're really grasping at straws, aren't they? Oh my God. Yeah. A woman in a
Uh,
car trying to get out of their way as a domestic terrorist.
yeah,
Oh, these poor people.
I know.
Anyway, I think so, when you come into authenticity and freedom and how this is going to be plugged into the new world, I think, this holding your space and not buying into all of the stuff that they're trying to flood the zone with is going to be vitally important in
Hmm.
terms of understanding your authenticity because you'll come out of that a bigger person,
Hmm.
you'll understand yourself much more importantly than you ever had. And I think you will also find that the universe responds to you in ways that you completely didn't expect it to
Oh,
happen.
absolutely.
I think I always say, well, when's the cavalry going to show up? You know,
Yeah, no, you're the
and
cavalry, dude.
you are the cavalry. That's
Yeah.
right. But I think that I think we're going to see an increasing amount of what might be considered miraculous situations that are occurring unexpectedly because the universe is invested in this transition that's happening on this planet.
Hmm.
And if the universe is invested in it, man, there's nothing that the Trumpers and the Ayatollahs and all the people that are trying to, bend everything to their will.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
can't stand in front of that, man, and you're done before you even step in the arena.
Yeah.
You're done. So, you just have to understand that the old ways are not going to go easy, but they're going to go. They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. It sort of reminds me of the Clash of the Titans when Perseus is just having the worst possible time, and Zeus sort of, he looks around and makes sure none of the other gods are looking. He picks him up, gives him a little, gives him, okay, yes, I'm interceding here.
Dust, dust him off. Get back out there.
Right, yeah, go for it, dude.
I'm on your side. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. I don't know what I'm going to see. And you're like we said earlier, I don't know if which episode it was in, but we're not, well, in all of them, we're always not predicting the future. I am not a prophet. When I teach people how to predict the future, I put a graph on a piece of paper and I put 2 points on it, and then I draw the line past those 2 points. And that is my prediction of the future. It doesn't take a genius to see that if you take from something without ever giving back to it, that you're going to run out of it, right? And a planet is the same way. And so if you're going to continually extract and extract and extract in order to feed your empire, and never return anything, never grow it back again, or support the regeneration of anything, you're going to use it up. And there's really there are political threads of philosophies and idealism that actually suggest that that's what's supposed to happen here, that you're supposed to drain the planet, and completely dry it up, make a prune out of it, and then you're done and you've done a good job. Congratulations, you've fulfilled your purpose as a human. And I think that's complete bullshit. And it didn't it worked the opposite way. For 140,000 years, humans were gardeners of this planet, and they made it work. And in the last 500 years, we've completely fucked it up with that idea that you're supposed to, you know, use it up, or Jesus will be pissed when he comes back. That's bullshit.
You know, I think I've told you about the time I came out of the sweat lodge in Phoenix and I saw this golden glow coming up off the earth,
Hmm, hmm.
about 3, 4 foot high, and I was like, man, what is that? Then I looked in the flower beds and they were just like fluorescent colors. I was
Yeah.
like, God, what's going on here? And the other people that came out of the sweat said the same thing. They were like, "Why are the colors so bright?" And I said, "I don't know."
Uh-huh.
And then I was watching this thing one night on TV, and they were talking about various people, interviewing various people that had been uh, taken by aliens onto spaceships and stuff. And this one guy said he was taken on the ship, and they showed him the picture of the Earth, and it was gold colored. And they said, "This is what the future of your planet's going to look like." And I thought, wow, wow,
Uh-huh.
and I believe that, and what I interpreted that golden glow to be was the love of grandmother Earth for being expressed to us, and so when then I went back and thought, well, Jesus, if that's true and that happens, then the Spanish conquistadors that came over to find the gold city, that thought it was going to be all the mineral gold, was
Uh-huh.
actually a golden city that had a golden sheen around it because the
Yes.
people respected grandmother Earth, and that feeding was mutual, and they co-created with the earth. And when you're in that sort of almost dreamlike blissful existence, I mean, the idea that somebody come roaring in with a spear and stick it in you'd be like, what? you know what the hell's wrong with you, man? Where's
Yeah.
the goal? It's all
Yeah.
around you.
Yeah. It's
You
here,
can't see it obviously, but it's
right?
you know
And
it's everywhere.
they're like, gold, here, here, gold, you know?
Right.
What?
Oh man.
Let me see if I can cut that out of you. Oh,
Oh
there
my
ain't nothing in
God.
here.
So, I think that what's really to kind of circle back is I think what's really important for everybody right now is, and this is something that you and I've had to learn because, we've said this before. The elders have said, you're doing a great job. You're not doing anything, and really, it's just a time to anchor in, and just hold the
Exactly.
space,
Yeah.
and maintain your integrity,
Be true to
maintain your
yourself.
love, maintain your conviction, maintain your sense of self, and know that it's not all falling apart. It's just shifting. It's called the great shift. It's not called the great dump. So,
Right.
it's a movement, and your job is just to hold your center because at the end of the day, it's all about balance.
Yeah.
It's all about balance. And for balance to come back, it's got to have an equilibrium anchor that allows it to attach itself to you. And to me, that's the collective unconsciousness of the humans, and there's a growing massive body of that's growing day by day on the planet through various expressions and various means, various things. I mean, I think that's what's going on in Iran right now. I think that the collective consciousness just said enough.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
us get the chains off of us. We're
Right.
just not going to
Exactly.
take this anymore.
Yeah.
So it's I mean, it's huge, and there's going to be a lot of turmoil to bring it about. But man, what's coming is just phew, it's mind-boggling.
Yeah. It is. It's a whole new thing. I don't even think so I'm just we're gonna have to close with this. I don't even think I'm gonna feel solid anymore. You know?
Huh?
I don't think I'm gonna feel solid anymore. I think I'm gonna be more ghosty like and more fluid and able to move in and out of different states of plasticity. That's just what that's because when I dream into it, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to people when they shake hands that their hands just blend in together and they know everything there is to know about one another and there are no secrets and it's all loving and it's all beautiful and we're not trying to take from each other all the time anymore.
Well, that would be heaven on earth.
It would,
That
wouldn't
would be
it?
the actual manifestation. Because I mean, you listen to people who've died on the operating table when they come back. They all say the same thing. Wow, you can't believe what's on the other side. You know, it's all knowing and all loving and just, oh, I didn't want to come back,
Neither did I,
So
but
I
here
think
I am,
our
yeah.
job,
Uh-oh, there's that instability again. Boy, it's a great shot, though. I'm going to hold on this one because that's an expression I don't think I've ever seen on your face. Can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, you froze. I can't believe it. When you see, I'm going to take a shot of that because you just froze for a second, and
yeah.
it was in the best part. You were like, all like that. You're gonna love this. I'm gonna clip that out for you. Make a little
Yeah, send it to me.
snapshot. Yeah.
Maybe my next Christmas card.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like we're getting any more stable. We've been here for 30 minutes, so how do you feel? You want to give us a
I'm
closing
good.
thought? Yeah.
Well, I think that, more appropriate. It's just appropriate. Only the Great Spirit's perfect, man.
Yeah.
And so, allow yourself the room and the flexibility to make mistakes and learn from mistakes, and just hold your center and know that the Calvary's on the way, that things are turning. It's going to be incredible, and don't buy into the gloom and doom of all the patriarchal BS that they're trying to unload on you to keep you in
Hmm.
chaos because the uh, this is an exciting, explosive, amazing time to be on this planet.
Yep. And it's possible and okay if you let the storm break around you. And
Oh,
that's the center that you hold. I love you all. I love you too, Frank. And I want to, let's see, in order to close, we always have to say these things. Thank you very much, everyone, for visiting with us. You can go look at us out on the web at earth-ems.org. We are Earth Medicine for the Soul, and we're signing off.